So a couple of days ago, the White House released a video clip as well as linked to more than a dozen news articles shedding some light on a concerning situation going on in South Africa. Today I'm going to analyze the video clip, explain the situation, and hopefully demonstrate to you using a couple of the sources that had been linked by the White House, which of course you guys are more than free to analyze yourself. I'm going to provide a link to the portal that the White House put on the website for the situation, and you guys are more than free to do your own analysis. But I hope to demonstrate today why this situation is so concerning, as well as, well, first explain what the situation even is. So I'm going to play the video clip, and then I'm going to explain what's going on as the video progresses, and hopefully you guys will be able to see why people are so concerned.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
Honorable member,
you want to do,
Speaker,
you can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Honorable, yes, honorable member.
So there's a lot going on in this first clip, and I'm going to try to the best of my ability, explain what is going on. So this is Julius Malema, the leader of the self-stylized far-left Marxist-Leninist party. Now, if you know anything about communism and Marxist-Leninism, this should already raise some alarm bells. But the guy is essentially saying that he is going to, him and his party, are going to seize land, occupy land, and there's nothing that the president or the parliament can do about it. Now, this is somebody who is a member of parliament. So that's already concerning. We've got somebody who is threatening to seize people's private property and who has a party behind him who actually does hold some power and could actually get their way. Now, here I'm going to show some snippets of an article that is also going to be useful to us later. But what I want to focus on is this snippet here. In the context of a rally, this article says, "This ugly rally marked the 10th anniversary of the founding of Malema's party, Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF. It declares itself, quote, Marxist-Leninist, wants to seize private property without compensation, particularly farms, such as," and then they talk about a person who they were just discussing got killed as a attack on his farm. And then, just as Malema's hero Robert Mugabe did in neighboring Zimbabwe, it demands the nationalization of the banks and gold mines and promises to enforce state control along the lines of communist Cuba. Terrifyingly, it could get its way. The EFF is the fastest growing party in South Africa, and Malema, who was raised by a single mother in a black township, the nation's most forceful political leader after next year's elections. He could become vice president. Okay, so if you're not following what's going on here, let me explain, okay, because it's going to get worse from here. But you've got a fast-growing economic freedom fighters, Marxist-Leninist communists, who are trying to seize people's land. Now, you guys already know, if you know anything about communist history, what happens when they declare that they're going to seize and, quote, redistribute the land. Things never end well, and it's concerning that these people could get their way. But it gets worse. Don't worry. We still have more clips to go over.
Never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
Okay, so this man is he's playing by the classic communist playbook of calling for a violent revolution, calling for class warfare, saying that the revolution demands killing and that killing is a revolutionary act. So, putting the puzzle together, we got two pieces. We have communists who are getting power very quickly and who are also declaring a class war on a rival class. But who is this rival class? I'm going to let Mr. Malema explain who the rival class is.
Shoot to kill, Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. To kill, Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
Now, if that was difficult to understand, he's saying kill the boor, the farmer. The boors, who he makes reference to, are a minority of people who are white farmers. So this is not only motivated by class warfare, as in like communists versus capitalists, but also this is motivated by race. And you're going to see that as this video progresses. So, to summarize, because I want everybody to follow every single minute of this, okay? Communists who are fast growing in power are calling for a class war and an extermination of an ethnic minority. Okay? That is what's going on. This is genocidal rhetoric. And if any right-wing party were caught doing this in any developed nation or even anywhere in the world, it would be rightfully called a genocidal party who is trying to commit genocide. Instead, what we have is the mainstream media calling claims of genocide baseless. Now, I'm not making any claims of genocide myself in this video, because I don't know enough on the stats or anything like that on what's happening to the white farmers to say that there's a definitive genocide going on, but there is certainly genocidal intent from the communists who are gaining power and are popular. This man gets to say this kind of stuff in rallies and have people cheering for him, okay? So this, at the very least, demands an investigation and should elicit concern from the average person. Especially because, as we're going to get to later, there are already refugees. We've already accepted 59 refugees from South Africa, white refugees who are farmers, who feel that they are in danger. Okay, because they kind of are in danger just based on this clip. And there's more, by the way. There's more that I'm going to show you guys. But just based on this clip alone, we can conclude that there is a concerning situation going on and that these people are under threat. That's not even to mention the fact that there are attacks on their properties and that there are people smugly saying that if they don't like the land seizures, they can go seek refugee status in America. I'm going to show you guys that. We're going to get to that in a second.
The mayor of DA in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot to kill, Yamaza.
So, as you could tell from that previous clip, the racial component has been accounted for. They are effectively declaring war on, quote, whiteness. So here's more genocidal rhetoric for you guys, and proof that this is racially motivated. Okay, I don't know how somebody can deny this.
Kill the Boer.
Here we have more kill the Boer chants.
Kill the Boer. The farmer. Brr, pa. Pa.
And we have them making gun noises. That's just great.
Shoot to kill.
Here we have a massive rally.
Kill the Boer. The farmer. Kill the Boer. The farmer. Brr, pa. Pa.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you.
Okay, now we're going to get to the most damning, in my opinion, part of this video, where this guy says that whoever doesn't like their land being seized can go seek refugee status in America, which is actually what has been going on.
We have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now.
We have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. Now, this is somebody else, so technically he hasn't called for that. And whatever coalition he leads hasn't called for that. But Malema and his, quote, freedom fighters, they always call themselves that. Like the communists always call themselves that. They have called for that. But notice the language here. He's not saying, oh, we're not calling for the killing of white people. We would never do that. He's saying, we're not doing that for now. Okay, so that could change. And actually, I'm pretty sure he does say that.
I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean...
Actually, yeah, he just said, I can't guarantee the future. My God. This is insane.
You'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter. They freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies.
Now, I have no idea what this song is. I can't translate that. I have no clue what it says.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Which is actually what has been going on. Let me show you guys. Even the BBC admits this. Last week, this 46-year-old man was living on his family farm with its scenic beauty, wildlife, and deep canyons. It's known as the place where the sun rises. His new home, for now, is a budget hotel near an American highway. He and dozens of other white South Africans were moved to the U.S. under President Donald Trump's controversial policy to protect them from the discrimination he alleges they are facing. Which is not an allegation, by the way. I mean, these guys are outspoken about it. They don't deny this is going on, man. They should not pretend as if these are baseless claims, and they're going to say that they're baseless, too. But they're not. As you can tell. I mean, you guys can tell me, and you guys can bring your fact checkers or whatever, but, I mean, the videos and the rhetoric coming out of these parties speak for themselves. I don't need you guys to be like an interpreter for me. I'm not stupid. Come on, man. An accusation that South Africa rejects. Well, of course South Africa rejects it. You obviously they're not going to say, "Oh, we're committing genocide, guys. We're discriminating against white people." They're not ever gonna say that. Come on, man. Mr. Kleinhaus defends the U.S. president, telling the BBC he left his homeland after receiving death threats in WhatsApp messages. I had to leave a 5-bedroom house, which I will lose now, Mr. Kleinhaus tells the BBC, adding that he also left behind his car, his dogs, and even his mother. I didn't come here for fun, he adds. The contrast in homes couldn't be more stark, but for Mr. Kleinhaus, his situation in Buffalo, New York is already a better one. My children are safe, says Mr. Kleinhaus. whose wife died in a road accident in 2006. The status of white South African farmers has long been a rallying cry on the right and far right, guys. The far right boogeyman is back again, guys, of American politics. Trump and his close ally, South African-born millionaire Elon Musk, have even argued that there has been a genocide of white farmers in South Africa, a claim that has been widely discredited in February. So you guys can, again, say that it's been widely discredited, but let's, again, put all the puzzle pieces together. We have communists who have a fast-growing party, who have genocidal intent, who use genocidal rhetoric, and who want to steal the land from all these people and displace them. Okay, that is not baseless. It's not necessarily enough to conclude that there is a real genocide going on, but it is enough to warrant investigation, and it is cause for alarm and cause for concern. Okay, so you guys can say all you like that there's no genocide going on and that, oh, these claims are baseless and the South African president was ambushed because he was shown this clip. No, there are serious concerns and serious alarm bells that need to be raised. And these people are proud of it too. They're literally calling for people to seek refugee status in America because they're going to take their land. All right. So, as you can hopefully, if you have a conscience, tell, there is a concerning situation involving the white farmers of South Africa, and people are going to get lost in the racial component. People are going to get lost in the fact that it's black communists calling for white genocide, and they're going to do their stupid white people can't be victims nonsense. But I, as a Catholic and as a Christian, am going to stand against any ethnic group doing any kind of genocide to any other ethnic group, any racial group, whatever it may be. I'm a Catholic. I'm going to stand against that, and I'm going to pray for the people who have obviously been targeted with genocidal rhetoric, if nothing else, and whose people are having their land seized and whose people actually are dying, regardless of, and I'm going to show you proof, by the way, that there's actually murders going on. Quote from the Daily Mail, I believe. Quote, "They came at breakfast time to murder Theo Becker, smashing an iron bar stolen from his own farmyard into his skull before slitting his throat. So he bled to death. His 4 teenage attackers then tied up his wife, Marlinda, and put a plastic bag over her head before she slipped into unconsciousness. Mercifully, she survived. In South Africa, where the murder rate is soaring, the killing of 79-year-old Mr. Becker on July 30th still had the capacity to horrify. This week at the Afrikaans Dutch Reformed Church, half a mile from the Beckers' cream-colored farmhouse, Minister Johann Bauer told the Mail. The couple came here to Sunday services. Marlinda was a regular every week. Theo would attend if he was not busy. On the farm at a memorial service for him, the church was packed with white Afrikaans, farming families, and black people from the area who paid their last respects to him. Okay? So this is a situation that is kind of commonplace from the sound of it. So I ask that people pray for the Afrikaners who are obviously a victim of genocidal rhetoric and more than once have had actual action taken out on them, not helped by the fact that there's a communist party calling for this kind of action against them. You can see why we're accepting refugees, because these people do have reason to fear for their lives, and that's why, again, I ask that you pray for these people. And for those who care, keep an eye on the situation as it develops, because although from what I know, now there's people who do argue on the right that there is a genocide going on. There are people who argue that. However, from just this information, I can't really conclude that yet. I'm very much more than open to that perspective, especially because there are actual calls for genocide against these people. I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually being acted on. But again, I can't make that definitive statement. All I want to leave you guys with is this. Look, if you would be alarmed by any calls for, I don't know, the genocide of any group, period, coming from a right-wing party, which unfortunately has happened in the past. I do not condone that. However, if you would be alarmed, and rightfully so, would be alarmed by that, then you should also be alarmed by this, because the communists are literally calling for a murderous revolution, which is what they always do. And if you know communist history, this shouldn't be a surprise to you. But with all that being said, everybody, I hope that this has made the case that I wanted to make. And if you want to see more content like this, I would encourage you guys to subscribe, and I'm going to keep an eye on the situation, so I'm going to update it as updates come out. This conversation has hit the mainstream because President Trump showed that video clip to the South African president, and now everybody's freaked out about it, and that's actually how I know about it. But I'm going to keep a track on this situation, and if you want to see that, follow me or anybody else, because I don't want to do any kind of shameless self-promotion when there's a topic as heavy as potential genocide. Okay, all I want you guys to do is keep an eye on the situation and pray for these people, and hope for the best when it comes to these people, and do not be hostile to them seeking refugee status, because they kind of have earned it, to be honest with you. But with that being said, everybody, I hope that you guys have a blessed day. I'm kind of doing this in one take, I'm sorry. And I will see you guys in the next one. God bless.